Joseph, how did you find carnivore?
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. So I discovered the carnivore diet last year, January 2024, while searching on YouTube for a way to heal my tennis elbow. It's not the first time I've heard it, but I was exploring diet approaches. That's when I came across some of the leading voices in the carnivore space, like Bella, Steak and Butter Gal, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker, and eventually I found your channel. So, I actually find myself dropping more on your channel because of the personal stories, and they really resonated with me. So, I've listened to many of the stories about vegans, vegetarians, years doing it, and then they did a complete 180 after their health declined. I think one that stuck with me was this is probably an interview a while ago. A girl who was hearing voices in her head. She was delusional, but then she came back to reality. You know, a guy who was depressed, having several health issues, now back in her place. He's back. He's in a happy place now. And then there were some people who were like dying and then suddenly living their lives. So I listened to all of them pretty much. I enjoy listening to them with my family while we're on a long drive or while I'm working. So this is what appeals to me. So thank you for those interviews. Mm. So my
Thank you.
personal experience. Yeah, no problem. My personal experience with the carnivore, it all started about 9 or 10 years ago when I visited a holistic nutritionist my wife had found online. And then this is about to fix my skin issues, like mainly psoriasis and eczema. So before seeing this nutritionist, I had already visited several dermatologists, and they all had performed biopsies. I think I've already taken three or four. They took samples of my scalp and my back, where the skin irritation are mostly visible. So this diagnosis are consistent. They came back as psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, all in the same family. So this nutritionist, right? She practiced something called applied kinesiology. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but general idea is like to find your food sensitivity and then what you're lacking in nutrients. Yeah. So she would ask me to like extend my arm out while she applied pressure to push it down, and at the same time she's holding a bottle, and then she will place it on my stomach, and then if your arm drops easily, indicates sensitivity. And then if your arm stays strong, you have tolerance, right? That was the general idea. So honestly, I didn't care much about the method. I just wanted my skin to get better. I don't care if it's controversial. So I shared this history with the nutritionist, and she completed the testing. So the result was that I had low tolerance for most carbohydrates, and I was lacking on many nutrients. So based on that, she advised me to go on paleo diet. She advised me to eat like specific meat, but everything is lean. Veggies, everything has to be leafy greens, but avoid spinach at all costs, right? Fruits were green apples and just berries. So she also prescribed supplements to take, like I would say about 10 to 15 supplements each visit, each checkup. And there's no exaggeration, really. It was that much. It was really getting expensive. I think that was part of the whole business, giving the supplements. So I think I went to this nutritionist for a little over a year, me and my wife. I don't remember how many times we went back for checkups, but after my first initial visit, I quickly adapted the paleo diet, hoping to remove my skin issues. So, there was no easing into it. After a couple of months, I've lost a lot of weight. I've gone down to 140 pounds. I did not record my initial weight when starting because it was not my goal to lose weight. but I think I was around 180 to 185. I also felt physically stronger, which I think, were good, but did it solve my main issue, which is the skin, right? So it didn't. Um, it still persisted, still visible, very red. I'm also not sleeping well at night. I get leg cramps. I'm always hungry, craving for food. I don't last long doing physical activities. Back in those early years, I'm very physically active. I'm doing tennis, breakdancing, CrossFit. Yeah, just a lot of things. Even when I had the skin issue, still very active. So I felt like paleo diet worked for CrossFit, but it didn't do me any good in tennis since I could not play, I could not last longer. I remember playing a team tennis, a recreational tournament. I was the captain. We didn't have any sub. Usually you have six, but we only had four. So we were kind of forced to play multiple sets. And as expected, I was cramping just in the second match. So that was the first bad sign for me to stop the diet. So I remember through one of my visit with the nutritionist, I always had this in the back of my mind. The whole idea of eating meat is bad for you and can cause like illness and heart disease. So I felt like I need to confirm with her the that this diet will not cause it. But I didn't really get an answer from her or like a confirmation. But she just gave me an example of one of her patients, like who was a bodybuilder eating 12 eggs per day, and then that some had to go on carnivore diet to fix their issues. So that was the first time I heard carnivore diet. Yeah. So at that time, I thought it was extreme. So maybe she knew, maybe she read me that I wouldn't do it. It's too extreme. That's why we just landed on paleo instead. So, I mean, I already followed her advice except for one thing, which is to avoid spinach. I actually ate a lot of spinach because it's leafy. So, yeah, I was substituting veggies for carbs like rice and bread. So I was eating a lot of it. And then when I told her that I kept on eating spinach, she was not satisfied. But I didn't ask her, what is the reason to avoid it. She just said to avoid it at all cost and just substitute kale. But kale is really bitter. I didn't want to eat it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
kale is not something that makes my mouth water at all.
yeah. So after a couple more visits, my skin issues are still the same, right? I'm still having the other problems. I went to visit a regular doctor for a checkup, blood test, physical overall. She had told me I was high blood, high cholesterol, and whatever I was doing before was much better, even though I was chubbier, right? So I think this was the second sign that I needed to stop the paleo diet. It was enough for me to be convinced. So fast forward to 2017, we had our first child, me and my wife. It was a great year because we've been trying, and I also started doing less physical activities and no specific diet. It's literally whatever. Go back to eating carbs, a lot of spinach, thinking that it's healthy. Fast forward to 2020, had our second child, another good year supposedly because we had another kid, but it was during the COVID year. I think the next couple of years was particularly difficult. I would say for me, because it was like the year of censorship. A lot of COVID narrative being censored, too many protocols anywhere, and then even when I was in the hospital, I can only stay for like a couple of hours. Then I must leave right after my wife gave birth. Things like that. So you know I remember also leaving Facebook because of the censorship. I was just taken aback. Just felt like a mass hypnosis. I left my CrossFit because I didn't want to participate in the madness, like wearing masks 6 feet apart, crazy save live virtue. I didn't want to put up with it until they go back to their senses. But again, this is just me. So the vaccine mandates were being encouraged in my previous jobs. incentivized. So the next couple of years were just depressing. I think I'm slowly getting depressed myself, right? I just keep saying to myself, just be strong mentally and just hope this will blow over. So by 2023, my only physical activity left is tennis. I still manage to find friends to play tennis at least once a week, and I usually need a couple of days to recover after that. And by spring is when I first experienced the discomfort and pain on my left elbow, and the pain feels like it's gradually spreading as time goes while playing. So, in order for me to keep playing tennis, I switch with my right arm. I'm left-handed, so I switch with my right. So that actually did work when hitting in practice. It was actually fun relearning the basics again. But then I joined a tournament that same year. That's when reality hits me that using my non-dominant hand isn't going to bring me to competitive side. So, or the same level I was playing before. So I lost so badly, like bagel, and then just 1 point. There was many moments where I was playing two hander on both sides, like Monica Seles, if you've heard of her, right? So it's just that I'm not used to it. But after this match is when I decided to check with a physical therapist. So to heal my tennis elbow. So tennis elbow was the only thing, like was the tennis was the only thing that's keeping me active and not depressed at this point. Besides like hanging out with my family, work, the kids. I just look forward to playing in the weekends. So I really felt like I needed to fix this. And also, mind you, my skin issues have not disappeared. It has only gotten worse throughout the years, like from like 10 years ago. So I'm seeing new spots in my body, going to the dermatologist regularly for checkups, highly reliant on medication, managing the inflamed spots. So I was also starting to feel pain in my joints, other parts of my body, and I think the skin issue is like the indicator telling me that there's something wrong going on. So when I went to the physical therapist, I didn't want to explore the other issues. I feel like it's just going to get more expensive. So I just wanted to fix the tennis elbow. My assumption is that this is just part of aging, right? And just accept it as it is. So they had diagnosed it as tennis elbow after their assessment, the X-ray, MRI. There is a correct medical term for it, but I just didn't care. I just wanted the elbow fixed. So they did wanted to perform a treatment called PRP. It stands for platelet-rich plasma. It's like to help the tissue and repair and healing faster by drawing blood from the patient, and then they spin it in a machine, and then they keep the healing cells like the platelets. So they then inject it back to the sore inflamed part of the elbow. So the whoever was the specialist, I think it was the doctor. He said that this is also not a quick fix, and this can take months to feel better, according to him. Right. So I've been going to that clinic for about 6 months, and I was there 3 days a week for sessions. But it didn't really get any better. Yeah. So through one of my sessions, I had asked one of the staff, if they have any other patients like me that have the same issue, but she mentioned they did, but they just grew irritated and annoyed, so they just ended up doing self treatment. Yeah, so I think after that I realized I would probably have to do the same as well. So this is when I tried to recollect my memories when I was going to the nutritionist 10 years ago about my skin issues. So it just felt like her advice wasn't all wrong, or maybe I'm the one who's not following it correctly. But there's something definitely I'm missing there. I knew she mentioned carnivore, but I wasn't too accepting about it at the time. So, but now I'm seriously considering it. So this is when I decided to look it up on YouTube, and that's how I found all the voices, the influencers, right? So I've researched it for months, for many months, and then went back and forth to the testimonials, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker, and then I decided a specific date to start, which is May 1st. So I know, like, I have a mile marker and a clear indication where, when I started. So two
Was
weeks,
that this year or last year?
it was last year. Yeah. So 2 weeks prior to May 1st, I have already done some elimination. So this time, instead of getting rid of carbs, I eliminated spinach first. So that was the first thing. I finally followed the advice of the nutritionist. So yeah, and then the rest of the veggies. And then May 1st came, I got rid of all carbs completely. No easing into it, just remove all of it, right? So after the first week, the tennis elbow is still there, the pain's still there, but it was a lot less. Yeah, and then by the second week, it was completely gone. So that was, yeah, it was completely gone in 2 weeks.
But and that's after the 6 months of treatments, 3 days a week that did nothing.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was really hard for me to believe, like, what was happening. I was dumbfounded, like, for a while. So So I'm processing everything in my mind, like, what I was doing in the last 2 decades of my life, just looking back, everything I was doing felt wrong. I started to question things even more, like, what about Popeye? Was that all a lie? Was that a propaganda? Have we been lied to? Even small things like, because I was born in the Philippines. So there's this funny Tagalog expression. It's a Filipino language called putok batok, which literally means like your neck exploding, right? So they use this to describe super rich, high fat cholesterol foods. So the kinds, like, like, they're really good, but supposedly bad for you. So people usually say jokingly when eating, stuff like um, pork or like beef with like high fatty stuff, like, it could lead to high blood pressure. We're all familiar with that. That it could cause like high blood pressure or heart problems. So it doesn't really specify because it's just a humor joke, right? It's not really about whether it's cooked in butter or seed oil or anything like that. So it's just a general warning. People say when you eat something dangerously good. So, me personally, I see it as a warning, and just disguised as a humor when Filipinos say it. You know, I think this is one of those like culturally ingrained, even in humor, like because Filipinos eats a lot of rice. I know many Asian, communities also. It's like a staple. Yeah.
So was that difficult for you to get your head around not eating rice all the time?
I think because with a nutritionist 10 years ago, um, no easing into it, so I just did the same. It didn't really affected me. I think I'm very disciplined when it comes to like following, except not following the spinach, right? But I think, yeah, it didn't give me any problem. Yeah.
Um, so the tennis elbow's gone in a week. Sorry, in 2 weeks. Um, did you notice other changes happening? Like, I don't know,
Oh
things
yes,
improving with your
yes,
sleep or anything like that?
yes. The sleep is a lot better. I'm also more stronger. That came back. I can last long playing tennis longer. I can also play for long periods, multiple days, a week. Sometimes, these are some of the things I was not able to do in my earlier years. Just earlier today, I actually went to a trial class for CrossFit again. So I'm going back. So I have so many, yeah, I have so many plans for next year. I want to join a handful of recreational tennis tournaments. CrossFit competitions, maybe a marathon for the second time, and then maybe start a men's physique training by the end of next year. It just felt like everything is endless now. There's more things you can do now. You're not limited, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is something I noticed pretty much early on was like suddenly I've got this feeling of I just want to do things instead of like, oh, I'll put it off till tomorrow kind of attitude. It's more like, okay, well, I could sign up for this and I can do this and I can do that. And yeah, it's like it gives you, I don't know, it, you mentioned like your endurance is better, but it's also like your endurance for multiple activities gets stronger.
Yeah, yeah, it did definitely. Actually, I wanted to bring out because I was so excited when my tennis elbow went away, right? 2 weeks. So I entered a tournament right away, no practice or anything because I was just ecstatic. So, but I ended up in a bad loss, even worse than my 6-0, 6-1. But I wasn't depressed like compared to that one because I knew I can come back if I just practice. So my endurance was there. There were no injuries after the match. I could play the next day. I could probably play 2 more hours, after that. So,
So, like, what's your eating like day to day now?
so everything is a meat. I still eat seafood, chicken, beef, and pork. I might eliminate pork sometimes in the future. I think it's still giving me because my psoriasis is still, present. It hasn't completely been gone, but I would say I would estimate 90-95% are gone. So I still have some in the scalp, but I'm thinking it's probably the pork left. I feel like the closer I get to a lion's diet, the more better I feel. So, but it's just my assumption. But I'm thinking maybe there's something else, maybe a seasoning, something else is triggering it. Yeah,
So, are you doing 2 meals a day?
2 to 3.
Right,
Yeah, I still eat a lot. I guess it never changed. Yeah.
right. And what do your family think about this?
Oh, well, my wife's not a carnivore, and probably never will be. Same with my parents and siblings. Honestly, I don't really know anyone in my circle who is. I think they just enjoy food too much to try something as restrictive as this. Um, if they do become carnivore, I think it's going to be a great day. And I just didn't want to push it on people anymore, but I just wanted to be like an example because when I told my parents about it, I assumed they think I'm crazy, you know. So my mom confirmed just last week, telling me that she thought I was just gonna have a heart attack one day, and they're gonna have to take care of me. So yeah, and then in the beginning, of my trials, I would say, like with carnivore, because I was so amazed and excited about the result. I was being very pushy about it, towards other people, and I realized it's not going to translate until they try it themselves. I remember telling two of my tennis friends about it, and they had asked like how I healed my tennis elbow. So I tell them straight up, I just went carnivore and I got healed, and I think you should too. You know, all my other body issues, problems went away. And then I remember another friend asking me, "So your answer to everything is carnivore?" So that made me realize like I was probably being a bit much because I'm probably too excited. So
Yeah, it feels, I guess for other people, it probably gets to a point where they feel like if you're talking about carnivore fixes everything, it's almost like if they say, "How did you fix this?" It's almost like you talk about religion all the time. It's the same kind of, I guess they probably feel it's like the same kind of evangelizing, you know?
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And
Uh, oh, sorry, go ahead.
also, yeah, I think the most common question I get from my friends is like from my circle is like how much I'm spending on the grocery. I think like the common understanding there is that it will be expensive because you're only buying meat, but and I think that's what's stopping them right away. So I mean, I'm not eating steak or ribeye twice a day or even every day. I eat other meats too, right? So there's plenty of choices, like affordable choices, and um, also it gives you like plenty of time. You don't have to prepare crazy meals. Very simplified diet, and then my conversation usually just ends with like, with a friend of mine says, "I'm just glad you finally found a diet that works for you," and that's usually my cue to just leave them alone. So.
Um, so how
Mhm.
has it impacted your work, if at all?
I feel like I can concentrate better. I have mind clarity. I don't even know how to explain it. Before, like I feel like I can't concentrate. I'm like sleepy, or maybe like even if I have like 6 hours of sleep, I would need coffee. This time, like I would sleep even less than 6 hours, like 5 hours. I still have energy. I feel like I still need to like use it for something. I recently went on a carnivore. I mean, not carnivore, on a cruise for 7 days. So that was a little tough because I feel like there's so many things to do, and then I would stay up late, and then at the same time wake up early to do like to go to the gym. But I have so much energy, I don't know where to use it. So, and with the kids always wanting to do something, yeah.
How did you go on the cruise maintaining carnivore? Was it easy enough?
It was pretty easy. They have a lot of options. I'm just not sure, like, I guess the quality of the meat, but they have like burgers, they have the buffet, they have lamb, they have seafood options, they have specialty dinings. So they have lobster, my favorite. But there's plenty of options. I think, yeah, it did like give me like a side effect at one point. I think it was the second day. I had like a diarrhea. I'm not sure if it's just because of the food in the cruise, but they have a lot of meat options. So yeah,
Yeah, I think, that could even be something like, seed oils or something, because you can't guarantee what they're cooking in on the cruise, right? So,
yeah,
and if you
mhm,
haven't had seed oils for a while and you suddenly reintroduce that, that could have some issues in your stomach.
yeah, yep.
Mm.
And I've also while on the cruise, I took the Dramamine, so I think that might have set my stomach. It probably did something to me also. So
Is that like a seasickness kind of thing?
yeah, uh,
Ah, I see. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like I don't take this anymore. So, but I just don't want to be nauseous, so just to make sure. But it's either the food in the cruise or the that medicine. So,
Right. And so for you, is this the way you see your future? Like, is this sustainable for like as a permanent solution?
honestly, I think this is gonna be my way pretty much, unless there's something happen like like what my mom is thinking. Like I'll have a heart attack sometimes in the future, and then she'll have to take care of me. But with all the benefits, it just like outweighs everything. um I've already like introduced it to like my kids. They're already aware, like me saying carnivore pretty much every day, every time I'm in front of them. So just want to give them a head start, because me, I just discovered this last year. I feel like I wanted to discover it 2 decades ago.
Right. I
Mhm.
think, when you think about this as a permanent solution for yourself, I think the thing that makes it easier to kind of make that decision is that the feedback you get from your body is that you're doing the right thing, you know? um, all our lives, when we're eating a regular diet, when we're eating the spinach or whatever we're eating, our body is giving us signals saying, "No, this isn't good. I don't feel good." But then when you switch to this way, your body is instantly giving you positive feedback, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So that kind of when you hear the doctors out there saying, "Oh, no, you're gonna get a heart attack, this is bad for you," whatever, it's like, well, why is my body saying the opposite?
Yep,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
and speaking of that, have you been to a doctor?
I haven't. That's actually next on my list. By the end of the year, I plan to see a doctor. I know I've been going to the because I just discovered Carnivore app, and they have like doctors that deals with, I guess, with the carnivore diet. They just like list like a list of doctors who I guess it specializes on this. So, I mean, throughout the year, especially during COVID, I kind of lose. I was, I guess, like respect, you know, because of the whole COVID thing, and then after that, like vaccines. So I'm kind of like more picky, like who I wanna like work with. So I think I'm gonna go by the end of the year to see a doctor who's like who knows a little bit about carnivore. I would hope, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have a list of the doctors that are gonna be carnivore friendly or at least have some knowledge of it because there's nothing worse than going into a see your doctor and then just spending the whole time arguing and trying to convince them that, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That was actually my thoughts. Yeah, I was thinking about. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So, if a friend came to you and said, "Okay, I'm gonna try carnivore for 90 days," what is your advice for, you know, doing it in a way that I can stick to it for at least that first 90 days?
I would say I think if there's nothing wrong, if you don't have any like body problems or any ongoing issues like or chronic illnesses like me, I wouldn't necessarily advise to try it, but it can still be like a smart or like a good experiment. So you'll have this in the back of your like knowledge book or something in the back of your head. So you can probably learn more about your body responding to like a specific diet. So, but if you have like chronic illnesses like me, and you just want to improve your health, I guess this is worth trying. Potential benefits outweighs the risk, especially if the conventional approaches doesn't work or you're arguing with your doctor. you know, just make sure you do your research, understand the basics before jumping in. And last is that, if you're dealing with a serious terminal condition, this might sound extreme, your time is limited. Try it now. You don't have anything to lose.
Nice. So Joseph, if people wanna reach out to you, do you have any way of getting in contact or any social media?
Oh, yes, I have a YouTube channel and they can also reach out to me in my email. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll link to your email and the channel in the show notes. Joseph, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me in your platform. It's a pleasure.